Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 28 of albums that are 50 years old in 2022 as we look back on 1972, a wonderful year in music. Here we are, the last couple days of the month. I have really enjoyed watching in the comments and in the chat each and every day, people frantically trying to guess which will be my last couple of picks of the month, as I did tell everybody that my absolute favorites are going to be the last week, right? Even though I love all the ones we're talking about this month, it's the last couple days, the last week, where my top favorites of 1972 are going to be nestled. And people like talking about, well, I think Pete's going to have this at number one, this at number two, or that sort of thing. And then I'm always interested in people who keep up. Pete hasn't mentioned this band yet. He hasn't mentioned this band yet. Because obviously it seems like some of you are missing some episodes. That's why it's very important that you click on that notification bell if you are a subscriber so you don't miss any episodes, because many of you are calling for albums that I talked about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. People saying, I can't believe Genesis Foxtrot wasn't higher. And it's like, well, I mean, what, 6 or whatever it was? That's pretty damn high, right? Or 6, 7, 5, whatever. I lost track of count. These last couple days here, the last week for sure, are my absolute favorites. And, the ranking here, how I put them, it's kind of how I'm feeling this week. But, you talk to me in a week or 2 or 5 or a month or whatever, and I might, switch them around a little bit. Doesn't really matter. As long as they're included in the month, that means a lot to me, right? So today we're going to go back. Let's see. This is another twofer for you. Right, so you're getting 2 of them in a row. We had Gentle Giant yesterday. Today, you've got another band. This first one I'm going to talk about was released March 3rd of 1972 for the Chrysalis label in Europe, Reprise in America, produced by Terry Ellis and the band. I'm talking about the 5th album from Britain's very own Jethro Tull, Thick as a Brick. Bump. Yeah, I don't know how much more needs to be said about this wonderful concept album, basically all one long 45-minute long song, broken up into 2 sides of vinyl, right? Maybe not quite 45, right? 22:45 and 21:05, just under, 40, 44 or thereabouts, or just under 44 minutes. This is just absolutely amazing. It's a concept album, the life of the young kid Gerald Bostock. There he is right there. Right, you get the whole album, newspaper wrappings and article. It's just this whole kind of made-up fable. Very, very cool, focusing on the life of this Gerald Bostock fellow or kid, right? Here we have the lineup of Ian Anderson on vocals, acoustic guitar, flute, violin, trumpet, saxophone, accordion, whole 9 yards. Martin Barr, the wonderful Martin Barr on acoustic guitar, electric guitar, a little bit of flute as well. I played a little lute, mostly on electric guitar though, and what a guitar player, right? Poof. John Evan on piano, organ, and harpsichord. Jeffrey Hammond or Jeffrey Hammond on bass guitar and a little bit of vocals too. And Barrymore Barlow, drums, percussion, and then known as David Palmer, now known as D. Palmer on orchestral arrangements. Like I said, Terry Ellis, producer. Robin Black, engineer, and Ian Anderson also doing the producing. Yeah, this, not really much more can be said about this because, again, it's not like you can break it down into all these tracks and different songs and things like that, because it is one long piece. Heavy, it's mellow, it's majestic, it's progressive, it's hard rocking, it's beautiful, it's orchestral, it's like, this is, without a doubt, one of the greatest Jethro Tull albums of all time. There have been times in my life where I proclaim this my favorite Tull album. Currently, over the last couple of years, I generally go with Benefit, but, you got Aqualung and Minstrel in the Gallery and, Stand Up. The Tull catalog is just so good, especially in the 70s. Even those early 80s albums are great. So, that is my one half of today's pick. The other is basically more of a compilation album Released June 23rd, 1972 on the Chrysalis label. I'm talking about Living in the Past. Always love that cover. Right, very cool. Yeah, this is kind of a odds and sods type of thing, to coin a phrase from the Who, from the Ooh. This is a collection of B-sides and leftovers and live things and outtakes and all sorts of stuff. You know, this kind of signaled back then, and this is something that Ian and the band did so much throughout their career. For whatever reason, this band always had so many non-album tracks, you know, stuff that was recorded during the sessions that didn't make the albums, all these like things that were kind of kept in the vaults that throughout the career of Jethro Tull, Ian has always kind of like thrown them out there. It's like, well, you know what? We're going to re-release something, and here you get 3 bonus tracks of unreleased material, and you're like, and they're full-fledged songs, and in many cases, they're just about as good as the stuff that was on the regular album. There is no other band in the history of rock that has done quite what Tull have done with unearthing all these gems from the vaults periodically throughout the years. I mean, this was the first time we really saw that. So this is basically, and again, this is 1972, so really early in the career of the band, but yet they had a whole, double albums worth of stuff. Crazy, right? Just absolutely crazy. A Song for Jeffrey, Love Story, Christmas Song, Living in the Past, Driving Song, Bourrée, Sweet Dream, Singing All Day, The Witch's Promise, Teacher, remix from The Benefit, Inside, Just Trying to Be, By Kind Permission Of, Dharma for One, Wondering Again, Locomotive Breath, Life's a Long Song, Up the Pool, Dr. Brogan Broom, From Later, and Nursey. Again, all thing, a couple tracks obviously that came from albums before it. So this, in a weird way, this is like an odds and sods as well as a couple of gems from prior albums, so to speak. But man, could you imagine like being a Tull fan back in the early days, right, when this first came out, and this shows up in the store, and you're like, oh, what is this? It's not an album of all new material. This is an album of cool stuff that we hadn't heard yet, right? Leftovers from the other albums, plus a couple things we're familiar with. It's just pretty genius when you think about it. And then you've got a few years later, you have the MU Best of Jethro Tull, which has some, songs you're well familiar with. And then you get things like Rainbow Blues, right? Which is really, really cool. Another great kind of non-album track. And they would do that, on various compilation albums that would come out later on. And then much later on, you get these reissues and remasters and remixes and box sets with all this additional stuff that was never on here. It's crazy when you think about like how much material Jethro Tull have always recorded during album sessions that would later show up as like fully fledged, extra songs. And like I said, in many of them, just as good as the stuff that wound up on the regular albums. I mean, it's crazy to think about it. So there you have it. Thick as a brick, to be thick as a brick, and Living in the Past. I get into such like a celebratory mood when I think about it and listen to Jethro Tull. I don't know what it is. It's like, I love Tull, and I should have the new Jethro Tull album here today or tomorrow. So look forward to, hopefully you'll get, you should be able to get a review episode next Wednesday of the brand new Jethro Tull album, because I'm sure I'll be listening to it all weekend long. And so stay tuned for that next Wednesday. But in the meantime, we've got just a couple of other episodes coming up, right? We've got exactly 1, 2, 3. You're going to get 4, because you're going to get the last 3 days of the month, my last 3 picks, as well as an extra episode chock full of honorable mentions. And I do have a lot of them, so I'm not going to pull out props and show you the stuff, but I'm going to talk about them. So that's also coming up on Monday. Monday is the last day of the month, 31st. And then, like I said, we're moving into 1982. So we're going 40 years back. We're celebrating 40th anniversary, 40th birthdays to my favorite 28 albums from 1982, which another really good year in music, specifically hard rock and metal, right? So there's going to be a lot of that stuff going on throughout the month of February. So I'm asking everybody each and every morning, just like we've been doing here, This month, I'm going to give you my pick for that particular day, and I'm going to ask all of you to comment on my pick as well as give us your pick from from your list of favorite albums from 1982. So that's starting up on February 1st, just a couple days away. So thanks for watching, everybody, and visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Stay tuned. We've got coming up Monsters Den tonight. For all you horror movie aficionados, we've got Chris Allo, myself, and special guest Dave LaGreca from Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM, talking about our favorite horror films of the last 20 years or so. So modern horror post year 2000. And then Friday morning at the Funhouse, we got Martin Popoff back in the house once again. We've got Saturday, the UK connection with Simon Bray and Stephen Reed. And then we have album homework assignment on Sunday. Martin and I are going to have our rematch hosted by Jamie Lazo. That's coming up on Sunday, and then the week starts all over again on Monday with the Hudson Valley Square. So thanks for watching, everybody. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you real soon here on the channel. Take care, because we are here together all the damn time. Bye-bye.